What's your favorite scary movie?
Do you ever fantasize about
damn enchiladas?
That's much too vulgar display of power, Karen.
Let me ask you one question. Are you having fun?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Because I promise you, you and I are going to have some fun.
Oh, no.
It is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Shut up, you bitch hog.
Game over.
I was really happy, actually. I'm blowing my own trumpet here. Is that the right phrase?
That is the right phrase.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what you're about to say, but yeah. I mean, that is a phrase.
Yeah, it depends the context of blowing your own trumpet. Context being, I was really, this is really egotistical. I was just really happy with how the artwork for Phantom of the Opera came out. That was it, really.
Yeah. It's good. You always do a good job.
We had a good episode with that. I enjoyed that episode.
Fast. Yeah.
Probably because we kept it short and didn't enjoy it. Yeah, maybe that's a quality. We also lucked out with the holiday that happened the other day of the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
70 years.
Yeah. We have a knack for that. We do just seem to have a knack that by random we just managed to catch.
Just by random. Well, there's also this year is going to be the 50th anniversary of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas
Chainsaw Massacre.
And Black Christmas. Those are, there's obviously more, but those are the two notable horror films I think about from '74. But we've already done Black Christmas, but maybe we could do it again. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe it's a good film. It's a good film. Anyway, welcome back to the Dreadcast, one and all. We had a nice little break. Because why did we have a break?
It felt so weird having a break.
It did, didn't it?
Because you wanted to play Final Fantasy 7.2 or whatever it's called.
I genuinely had forgotten why we took a break then for a second, because last weekend I managed to, I think I got 27 hours into.
That's good effort. I said that in quite a disparaging tone, and I did not mean it to come across that way at all.
Absolute bastard.
It was, perfectly valid reason to have a break. I spent all weekend playing Baldur's Gate 3.
I was about to say, shove your Baldur's Gate 3 up your ass.
I mean, technically late for tonight's recording because I just had to finish a boss, but, we're not going to say anything about that.
Don't worry, we'll blame it on my tech issues.
Yeah, there's that as well.
And I'll be back on Rebirth after we're done here. So it's actually called Rebirth, and it's incredible.
Actually,
I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. Don't know if you're aware of that.
I saw you
out there
nerding out over the orchestra announcement as well.
Yeah, I went to it 2 years ago at Royal Albert Hall, and it was incredible. It was incredible just hearing some beautiful pieces of video game music from your past, your childhood.
That's something that's happened a few times in recent years.
They tour.
Have gone out with that. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
you don't think about soundtracks quite so often, but
I don't think you could really do it for horror films.
Oh, see, now you've said it, I feel like it's been done.
Some films do it, like films. Lord of the Rings. An orchestra, they tour with Lord of the Rings soundtrack, and you can watch the film as well when they're playing. Horror film, though. I mean, Manfredini from Friday the 13th. You tour with that
for like an hour and a half.
Yeah. What else?
I've just googled it. The Northern Film Orchestra presents Frankenstein live. Those, as we know, those Universal old monster picks have a lot of classical music soundtracks anyway.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So I guess you could have an I think that's probably what this is. Psycho film screening with a live orchestra. That's just for that one bit, isn't it? Really, just for the strings.
Every string instrument going.
Harry Manfredini Friday the 13th Suite MIT Sounding Concert.
There we go. There it is. Do you know what? I think the one person who would be really cool to see live in the horror world would be John Carpenter, because of the fact he is a musician. He's also releasing a new album coming out soon. But he's mega he is into his music, getting royalty checks, smoking weed, and playing video games. That is all John Carpenter wants to do. And fair play.
Fucking play to John Carpenter.
Yeah, fair play.
Quite honest. Oh, speaking of John Carpenter, I've got a craving to watch.
You want to review Ghost of Mars? Is that what you want to do?
Is that especially? I want to watch Escape from New York again.
He actually means Escape from LA. He got it wrong. It's embarrassing for the Dreadcast. He means Escape from LA, the better one.
Well, both.
I kid.
Why not both?
Because Escape from LA sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It's awful.
Yeah, I know, but so what? I'm not averse to some awful movies. It's got Bruce Campbell in it. Bruce Campbell's cameo in LA is good.
And Steve Buscemi.
Who's Steve Buscemi? Oh god, it's a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Who's Steve Buscemi?
And a robotic shark.
Oh yeah.
And the really bad CGI on the
tidal wave surfing.
Yeah. It's all coming back to you now. But yeah, John Carpenter would be good. I think seeing a John Carpenter performance live would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm with you on that. 100%.
But we digress.
Synthwave style.
Oh, he's ultimate synthwave. Yeah. We digress. I'm not really sure. Final Fantasy music. That's the path we got onto there. That's why we were off last week.
That's why we were off.
That's why we were off last week. That's why the month of March here at the Dreadcast we've got 3 episodes coming up for you. But first things first. Yes, welcome back to the Dreadcast. We are fully back. My name is Tom. It's lovely Adam, and we got a good month in the month of March.
The merry old month of March.
Merry old month of March. We had speaking of John Carpenter, what a great little segue there. We actually had another film
we did
planned for today. A better film, a much and a little bit more much better film than we have for today. But that's been put back to April. So we'll get to that thing.
Because we didn't want to spoil you with anything good.
No, we'll get to that thing. In the month of April. And then we'll be continuing the Treehouse of Horror adventures next week.
Yes.
And to cap off the month of March, our finale of the Monsters of the Universal series with The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which we alluded to earlier, is the 70th anniversary this year. So perfectly timed. And then in April, we get to start The Coffin.
I'm
very excited.
Sized coffin.
And we've already planned April pretty much as well. So looking forward to that.
Yeah,
We've got some good stuff coming. One thing I did just see, just before I saw a news today. A news. I saw one news today.
One news.
Singular news.
Which one news it is.
Singular news about our beloved franchise film Halloween, and what's now to come of it. Have you seen this? Have you heard of this? Have you seen this? Have you heard of this?
I saw your tweet.
It's a really good meme. That I love that meme. Yeah. So Halloween is now being made into a TV series. Kind of a. We're not okay. We're on to the new R word. We're not doing remake, remaster, reboot. We're doing reset. This is a reset.
Oh.
Miramax got the rights to it, and it's been a creative reset for the franchise, which means I don't know. In fact, I don't know if it means they're going to do another timeline set after one. That's
usually what it means, doesn't it? So
this would be the 4th time.
But is this this is a TV series?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So is it going to be young Michael Myers, teen drama, and how he becomes...
well, that's what we're getting with Crystal Lake.
I suppose you can't do that with Michael, though, can you? Because he was...
Well, Rob Zombie did.
super young.
Yeah, I mean, he killed him when he was.
I can't
remember his age. Yeah,
but he's a child. It's like he's institutionalized for his entire life.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
unless they just massively change it and make it a moody teen drama.
Well,
that's on trend.
Credit to Bloody Disgusting, where we get all our news from.
Yes.
Like we said, folks, just go to Bloody Disgusting if you want horror news. We're not horror journalists here.
No.
We're professional podcasters. We're professional podcasters here, okay? Professional entertainers.
God help the entertainment industry.
Yeah, this is the bar. So there is
it's low, but it is free.
There is a quote here. Miramax will be developing and co-producing the Halloween Saga. The Halloween Saga's first ever TV series, and Miramax head Mark Helwig provides an update. The foundation of it is the original film, the John Carpenter movie, the characters of that film, and perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much in recent film versions, or even a number of them. So you're talking about the original characters and all other characters that maybe we could leech onto and do their story. Do you know what this? By reading that, this just makes me think how creatively bankrupt Star Wars is. Where let's pick that character and do their story.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit. This is what they're going to do. The only character I would be somewhat okay and be interested in is Jamie, Danielle Harris, because she was a great character in 4 and 5. It's a creative reset completely and going back to the original film as opposed to spinning out any of the more recent film adaptations. So yeah, potentially new timeline.
Oh, it'll be rubbish. It'll be rubbish, won't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it will. It will.
Psycho Gorman director is going to remake Deathstalker.
I like how we're just moving on from this. That's fine. That's fine. Yes. More. Can we?
I know it's not strictly horror, but you know, I want to mention it because I know.
It's a bit horror. There's a lot of rape in those films.
I mean, well, yeah, there is.
And there's a lot of you got Monique Gabriel's performances, which is quite horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Deathstalker is it's a hell of a series.
It is.
It's a hell of a
when
series.
I saw that today, though, I was like, real do.
And if it's coming from Psycho Gorman as well, which is a fun film.
That is brilliant. Yeah,
it's
I need to watch that again, actually, because I really enjoyed that first time round. It was like grown up, gory, disgusting Power Rangers. It was excellent.
There we go. There's a nice bit of balance in the news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think there was anything else. I mean, God, they're pushing Winnie the Pooh 2 a lot. I really.
I've just seen the poster for. I mean, I'm assuming we're both just reading from Bloody Disgusting right now.
Oh, we're definitely scrolling too.
Going off the headline. I feel like I had a couple of things, but
I did as well, but
I've forgotten
life
what they are. We've got I mean they're steadily updating the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game.
I'll play it eventually.
He says. Barbara Crompton, isn't it?
Yes, that's it. Yes, Barbara Crampton's it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's cool. And the other thing that I was going to mention, which is not strictly, it's not really news, but
go for it.
I just want to sound you out. Have you seen anything of this Late Night with the Devil movie that is due?
I believe I saw a poster for it.
I think it comes out in a couple of days.
Is it? Yes, it's like a late night talk show. Parody sort of film.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by it, so I'm deliberately not seeking out anything on it. But I just happened to see a trailer for it the other day, which thankfully didn't give away a whole lot.
Okay.
But I'm getting sort of like it seems to be sort of set in the 70s.
Yeah, it looks it. Yeah,
that nice sort of feel. That retro feel.
There's a lot of brown.
There is a lot of brown. And yeah, it's somebody described it as being like a kind of a Ghostwatch vibe.
Yeah,
which
Ghostwatch is incredible.
Yeah. Which is which is brilliant. I mean, it's not going to be exactly the same because Ghostwatch fooled a lot of people and people thought it was real and it was presented. You know what I mean? It was presented in a different way. But I think it is that's the sort of angle that they're going for. That this is just going to be I think it's like a late night, as you say, talk show, sort of David Letterman style thing. But
it comes out soon. Wow.
It's like next week.
Oh wow! Friday, cool.
And they're gonna perform an exorcism or prove the devil's real or something on air. I don't know. That's kind of the general. Like I say, I'm deliberately not looking into it too much because I've got a good feeling about it. It's something different, and I always like something different, and I feel like it's going to be worth a go.
Do you know, this year in general, not much is getting me. The last couple of years have been really good for horror, really good. And this year, not much is really piquing my interest too much. I can think off the top of my head, Maxine, which now has a release date for, I believe, in July, but they've been very quiet. I mean, the cast is awesome. They've been very quiet with imagery being released or even a trailer. There's no trailer. He's still editing, I believe. So Maxine, because Pearl and X are fantastic. Nosferatu, hell yes. Robert Eggers, neither, say more. But that's at the end of the year, along with Terrifier 3 end of the year, 3. Which we've got a couple of images come out with him dressed as Santa, which is great.
I think that's the only Beetlejuice 2.
I'm
still interested in.
But there's a few that I'm really skeptical about. Like we've got Smile 2, we've got Speak No Evil remake, which is just absurd. How there's even a remake for that. You've got where was it? The Strangers remake, which is like the first of a trilogy, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't need to happen. I mean, and then there just seems to be a lot of dross. I mean, Stream.
Yeah.
That just looks like it's going to be probably straight to Netflix and dull as dishwater.
Nothing's really jumping out right now. Saw 11 in September, I believe. And even that is... Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think it... I think we did look not too long ago, didn't we? And I don't think anything's really changed all that much.
No. Let's get into it.
What are we getting into?
We are now. Before this, I tried to see if I had any green pieces of clothing. I don't own any green shirts or anything. What I do have though is I'm caught on the mic.
Now,
you didn't buy me this, did you?
No.
Okay, good, because I hate pop vinyl.
Yeah, I was going to ask. When I saw you post about it earlier, I was going to ask where you'd got that from.
So, to the audio listeners here, what I'm holding up is a shit collectible. Is what they are. A Funko Pop vinyl. However,
you've all got one at home, at least.
And someone may have hidden one in your house because.
I mean, I have got a few of my own. I can't really say anything. There are 9 in this room.
They are the epitome of the 2010s, where pop culture was everyone loved comics and everyone loved superheroes, even though they never did. And pop vinyls became the thing. I don't remember who bought me this. It wasn't you. That's fine. That means I can shit on it. Not literally. I hate these. But it is horror related.
Yes,
he's quite cool.
I mean, it's coming useful for today, hasn't it?
It's coming useful today. So, what we're talking about today, we're talking about Leprechaun. That's how it's spelt. Leprechaun. Warwick Davis's Leprechaun. The first one. First things first, I need to say about this. I've never seen this film. I've never seen any Leprechaun films. Now, you had?
I had seen this one. I'd seen this one before. I've seen bits of the ridiculous 5th entry to the series.
Is that in the hood?
When he goes to the hood, yes. The first of 2 films where the Leprechaun goes to the hood. Because once you do space, Ice-T's in it. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But again, I've not watched it start to finish. I've just seen bits of it. But I think we're going to differ a lot.
Yeah. Okay. That's
I
good.
like Leprechaun.
Okay.
It's stupid, but it's fine. It's fine that it's that stupid. You know what I mean? I enjoyed watching it the first time. I enjoyed watching it again last night. I was like, yeah. It's not great by any stretch, but it's dumb fun, and yeah, you know, every once in a while, I can go for some Leprechaun action.
I think I would agree with all those sentiments and points, and put them towards the later films when I get around to watching them, because when a series goes this long, all these films become dumb fun. You know, like the Friday the 13th become dumb fun after a while. Sure. So, and I wouldn't mind it because I would expect that. I knew about Leprechaun. I've always known about this film, really. But I think I went into it with different expectations.
Right.
I didn't know this was as goofy and campy as it turned out to be. I thought it was a lot more serious than... I mean, I know it's a leprechaun. It's a fucking little leprechaun looking for his gold in a really bad Irish accent. But I thought it was a bit more serious.
To be honest, first time I watched it, I thought it was as well. I wasn't aware that it was... I mean, I think if you look it up, it's described as a horror comedy.
I wouldn't even put it as comedy, though. That's the thing.
No, but this is the thing. I suspect that it wasn't... They didn't set out to make a horror comedy. I think there's just some comedy, and I use the term loosely, but there is comedy in there by virtue of them just making a pretty dumb film.
Yeah.
There's maybe a couple of moments that are like deliberate jokes, deliberately played for laughs, but by and large, it's just a dumb movie that you're laughing at and not with.
Yes, definitely at, not with. Yeah.
And I think the subsequent tags of, oh, it's horror comedy, are like because it's convenient. You know, it papers over some cracks by saying, oh yeah, it was meant to be funny.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily agree that they were trying to make a horror comedy. I think they were trying to make a straightforward horror and just picked a really stupid premise.
Well, yeah, I mean, the premise is very straightforward. For what it is, a vengeful, angry little shithead of a leprechaun is after his bag of gold.
Charms. It's not
Lucky
after his
Charms.
Lucky Charms.
He's after his bag of gold that a family, a daughter and her father have just moved into a new, I guess, in some sense, haunted house that are being plagued by him as they find his gold, and he just wants it back, and he's terrorizing them.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a very simple premise, but I didn't take notes on, like what I said about the Phantom of the Opera. Kind of similar thing. Didn't enjoy Phantom of the Opera. I enjoyed this a bit more than Phantom of the Opera. Didn't enjoy this as much. Most of my notes are grievances and annoyances that I'm like, why this? Why? That's ridiculous. That's why. And then I also wrote down about how you could change this film to really, you could make it into a serious horror film. Everything is there. Everything is right there. It's just not in the right order or polished and whatnot. So I mean, I don't know where do you want to start? I mean, where do you want to?
We can talk a little bit more about the plot and a little bit more about the setup. So you're right. The bulk of the film is a father and daughter moving into this old property. It's a fixer-upper, and in the process of fixing it up, they essentially release a leprechaun who's after his gold that's been stolen from him. Previous to that, we get an opening scene that shows sort of how the leprechaun came to be imprisoned. So we've got an old Irish couple. They're living out on this farm in. Does it say New Mexico? It's rural.
Sure.
It's rural America. And yeah, the father, the husband turns up. He's drinking whiskey. He's turned up in a limo, and he's claiming that he's rich. Yeah, Mr. O'Grady. He's telling his wife that he's rich. All their problems are solved because he managed to capture one of the little people and stole the gold.
Yep.
And then we have sort of an early scene of the leprechaun being released, and he's Mrs. O'Grady and Mr. O'Grady ultimately come a cropper, but not before Mr. O'Grady manages to seal him away in a box topped with a 4-leaf clover, which is enough to sort of imprison him. First plot hole is that he manages to originally capture him in a suitcase, and there is no lucky 4-leaf clover in sight, but he can't get out of that until he tricks the wife into opening the suitcase.
Yeah, that's the first. Yeah, as you said, first plot hole, because there's quite a few. Yeah,
and so begins a long series of scenes of Warwick Davis jumping out of things,
driving things
and driving things. That is basically the two things. Because I mean, I think the jumping out of things needs to be addressed early on as well, because this is something this film does a lot. And you get a lot of movies where they do the sort of fake out jump scare. Like, there's the character will lean in close to a cupboard, or they'll open a door expecting there to be something, and it's usually like nothing, or a cat jumps out, or some such thing. In this film, every time it is the leprechaun, and he does jump out. Without they never fake it out. They fake it out once with a rat at the beginning, and the rest of the time it just 100% is the leprechaun.
Even when the dad is bitten, thinks it's a cat, it's the leprechaun.
It's the leprechaun.
Yeah, it's always him. And speaking of him, like we get straight into it with him. The opening,
there's no
straight in.
Yeah, there's no like hiding the monster in this at all. We see
too much of him.
Arguably,
way too much.
Yeah,
he's overexposed.
And I guess that's going to be one of the ways why, if you wanted to make a serious horror out of this, that'd be the first thing you'd do, is address how much you see the leprechaun himself.
You certainly. Sorry,
it is. Well, it is. You're right. It's the opening shot. As soon as the sort of lights come up on the first scene, it's Warwick walking down some stairs, and he's just there for the entire movie.
Yeah, wherever these stairs are, it's just these little creepy stairs. But you don't need that opening scene whatsoever. What you want is like the opening credits, but with the audio of his voice, his laughing, his cackling, and then you have maybe a close up of his eyes, just that, looking mischievous, and then pan down to his mouth, like smiling and laughing. That's all you need to show. Or then you go to another opening. Part of the opening credits where you show a few more names, and you cut back to the film, which is just a hand picking gold out and counting, just little bits of him.
Yeah,
not a door opening and here he is, hey, walking down the stairs, counting my gold. Like, okay, we've done it, we've exposed him. He shouldn't have been seen full body. Well, what? That much of him on camera until at least let's say when they get to town with the coin.
Yeah.
Because that's when he gets he's like, that's where my coin, I'm after it. I'm trying to get my coin back and then get all the others back. But no, we see so much of him. He is overexposed.
Definitely.
Throughout the beginning of the film, you just want to see, I don't know, Jennifer Aniston, who, in my opinion, is not bad in this film. For her first film, even though it's not a good film for her and she hates it, I didn't think she was that bad.
And no, I mean she's not. I mean it's only like a year or two before Friends.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, this is one of the last things she did.
Yeah.
Before starting out on, you know, the biggest sitcom of all time.
Yeah. Hey,
so
what are you talking about? She wasn't in Young Sheldon.
Everybody hates Chris. Sorry.
Hey.
So yeah, you know, it certainly didn't harm her career as much as people like to think. I was looking that up actually because I don't know if I'd been told or I think I'd read somewhere that there was like a rumor that she hates it to the point where she denied being in it.
Oh, to that extent.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is definitely a myth that I've sort of spread. I've continued because I swore blind that I'd heard it somewhere, or maybe somebody told me, and I was like, oh yeah, why not? That's a fact. I'll sell that on. So I did a little digging before we did this because I thought I can't just come out and say, yeah, apparently she hates it that much. That
fair enough.
So I did a little digging, and I think it's fair to say she's not entirely proud of it, but I think at the time she was. I think she's quoted as saying, you know, because it was Warwick Davis, and Warwick Davis was a big star. Willow had just come out, and not a few years before Willow, you know, he was a big name, he was a big star. So she was hyped to be in a film with Warwick Davis. But I think the sort of reception of it and such was like, maybe that wasn't the best choice of movie. But I think the big thing is that she doesn't want to, you know, doesn't like watching her own films back, which I can totally
is
appreciate.
fair enough.
I think it's entirely fair enough. But yeah, there's a Howard Stern interview where she talks about it, and she's like, you know, I don't. I think her husband had made her watch it because it had come on TV one night and he'd refused to turn the channel off, so he forced her to watch it again. I mean, I said this was like maybe 2011, this interview or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've definitely been guilty of spreading this myth that she hates it so much that she denies being in it, despite all evidence to the contrary. But it's the real story is it's not quite as severe as that.
I see. Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I was just saying before, like, our introduction to the Leprechaun should have been, you could have had a scene with Jennifer Aniston, her name was Tori in the film, down in the basement. And this is around the time where, at the beginning, where she's snooping around the basement, and then this random tarp just falls on her head, and our hunky hero, Nathan, just appears out of nowhere. But you could have done a false, a fake jump scare there, but the camera pans around, and as it quickly pans around, you see a little shadow just,
yeah.
And it's just a tease. You just need a few teases here and there, and it kind of would lead Tori to thinking, "Am I losing? What was that? Did I see something? No, it must have been a cat or something. Something like we talked about in our tropes episode." You know, it must have been a cat, and then the cat does go, "Rawr! Oh, kitty, it's just you." But it's actually the leprechaun. Speaking of Nathan, you were not part of this episode, but when we did April Fool's Day here on the channel, he was the main lead in that, and he was far better in that film than he is in this film.
I mean, he's pretty one-dimensional.
Yeah,
isn't he?
Entirely. I mean,
to be honest,
the cast in general. I wrote Nathan is okay. Jennifer Aniston is probably the best performance on top of
basically
Warwick
playing
Davis.
Rachel Green.
Yeah. Oh god, I thought that. Yeah.
Spoiled, sort of, you know, princess type, doesn't want to muck in too much with the hard work and what have you. Yeah, she's basically it's proto Rachel. You can. I did wonder actually if the Friends casting director saw this and thought, she'd be perfect as the rich girl moving out on her own that we've got going for, because
would have put it past them.
I think the two characters are really quite similar.
Her dad is barely in the film.
He is not, is he?
No, which he we'll get onto him a bit later because of my idea how I would have done the film, which does kind of include him. And you've also got Ozzy and Alex, who do not need to be in the film one at all.
No, Ozzy is Chubby from Teen Wolf.
Okay, never saw Teen Wolf.
That's where I recognised him from.
All I know of Teen Wolf is the slip at the end. Someone hadn't done their trousers up properly.
Oh, really? I did not know about
You don't know that? Nice, but it's John Thomas out right there at the end of the film.
Okay. No, well, I might have to watch it again.
Exclusive here, folks, on the Dreadcast.
Well, yeah, Mark Holton, who plays Ozzy, played a character called Chubby. At one point, he eats jelly from down a young lady's top at a house party. And he was one of the other members of the basketball team. I'm sure he's done other things, but that's where I recognised him from. And Alex, the young kid Alex, is the young brother in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
There's a remake of that coming out, am I right?
I know.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Well, yeah, goes without saying for pretty much everything.
In fact, I watched the trailer for it and it's horrible.
Oh, lovely.
It's awful.
Lovely. Good stuff.
It was also in Mr. Nanny as well. But I mean, Don't Tell Mom.
Why does that sound like a Hulk Hogan film?
It is a Hulk Hogan
film. I thought it was.
Yeah, that's it. Sounds like one because
what you gonna do, brother, when Nanny comes running over you?
And that came out the same year as Leprechaun.
Fucking Hogan.
So, yeah. So there you go. I mean, there was nobody else in it that I recognised.
Ozzy.
Apart from Warwick, I guess.
Ozzy's character in this, because Ozzy, Alex, and Nathan are. Did you see what their company's called?
Yes, I did.
What was it called, Aidan?
It's well, I can't remember exactly, but it's something like Three Guys Who Paint.
Yeah, that's it.
is that exactly it?
And do you know what? They're awful at it.
I mean, I'm glad you brought this up because first things
bothered
first,
me so much.
They're decorating the house, right? That's the reason why these three characters come into the movie. They're helping with the renovation work, and they decide that they're painting that house blue and red.
Yeah,
bright blue with red shutters. It's just horrendous.
Not only that, isn't that not the first thing you do when you move it? You buy a new house, you paint it. You paint the outside of it.
The outside. I mean, the entire place is covered in cobwebs and.
We paint the outside blue and red.
But we'll paint the outside first. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's got electricity or running water, we'll make sure the outside's painted.
And the thing that really bothered me about their painting, this is the first of my annoyance. I've got annoyance here in Arial bold font size 20, and I've got many. I hate the way painting is portrayed like this in TV or media in general, because at one you go away for a bit, you come back and they've got paint all over them.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say this. They have like strategic little dabs of paint, just random. It's ridiculous. But also in the scenes where they are like, painting, they've missed loads of bits. And then it's like you've set a bunch of children to do it. Because there's like a little bit painted over here, there's a little bit painted in a different colour over here, there's a little bit, it's like, pick a wall, finish it, move on to the next one.
And we get Nathan trying to teach her Tori how to paint.
Yeah.
Oh, patronising shit.
Although, the way she's sort of portrayed, you kind of think she's probably never held a paintbrush in a life before.
No.
But then he's quite eager to use a crowbar to bust open the crate in the basement. So There's a little bit of it doesn't really follow its own continuity there.
So yeah, Nathan, Ozzy, and Alex are three guys that paint. In case you weren't aware, but Ozzy's character is his character description, I guess, when the actor was given his description for who he's playing. You need to act a bit slow, a little bit of a special, a little bit on the spectrum, I guess you would say. And that kind of gets played into the film, along with the bag of gold that our Leprechaun is looking for, because Ozzy and Alex find the gold. We'll get on to. Are we going to get onto it now? Let me get on to the next part of my annoyance. Let me cross off. First thing you do is paint a new house. Here we go. That's done. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Let's do it.
Just before we get into this, so through a little bit of there's a little bit of slapstick, and Ozzy gets covered in paint, and and through sort of general bumbling, basically he knocks the 4-leaf clover off the crate in the basement.
I'd forgotten all about that. Yeah,
which allows the Leprechaun inside to wake up and break out. That's how he gets out. Ozzy sees it, comes running out, telling everybody that there's. In fact, more than sees it, they have like a conversation. Yeah, they have a conversation. He comes running out. There's guys. There's a Leprechaun in the basement, and he wants his pot of gold, and he tried to kill me. And obviously they dismiss it as him being having an overactive imagination, or whatever. There's a scene later on where he phones the police.
Yeah,
and we find out that he's basically a serial. He makes serial phone calls to the police about Bigfoot and aliens and various other things. So
because we get to later on where he calls the police, and the police are like, okay, Ozzy, sure.
So the police aren't coming because it was Ozzy that made the call. So Warwick's out, the Leprechaun's running free, and then we get a magical rainbow appears in the sky.
Oh God. Not how rainbows work, Aidan.
Well, so this is my issue with this. So Ozzy and Alex run off, or Ozzy runs off and Alex goes chasing him. But there's the rainbow. At the end of the rainbow, we'll find the pot of gold that the Leprechaun wants. So they do. In fairness, the end of the rainbow is on this old beat up, rusty pickup truck.
Yeah. And
they go and have a look inside, and the bag of coins appears.
Yep.
By magic. Now, if presumably, I'm going out on a limb to work out what the logic is here, right? So Leprechaun escapes. His sort of magic is in effect now, which causes the rainbow to appear.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Leprechaun, who can magically teleport around the place, just go straight to the end of the rainbow and get his gold, and it's problem solved?
I thought that too.
Right. Alternatively, as happens, the bag of gold is hidden somewhere else. By the well, right? Is it in the well? That's next to
you mean the well with fake rocks at...
the polystyrene well, yeah. Again, we've already seen that a magic rainbow can point out exactly where this gold is. So why is Warwick Davis spending the entire movie chasing these people around when there should, by rights, be a big magical rainbow telling us exactly where the gold's been hidden?
Now, I thought that as well.
Okay.
Because later on, when he's having shenanigans with this police officer in the woods, he's appearing from tree to tree to tree. He's magically appearing. And then a bit later on, he hasn't got his magic powers don't seem as powerful. It fucks around with it a lot. Now he does say I believe he does say, the Leprechaun states that the coins, when he gets the coins back, his magical powers are getting stronger again. The coins, he does
part
say of his magical powers.
Yeah. That's how Ozzy manages to escape from the basement, because he says, "Oh, you've only gotten away because I don't have my coins, so my magic's not strong enough."
So I will give it that. a little bit.
But that rainbow still appears, regardless of whether his magic's strong. His magic, if it is his magic, it's obviously strong enough to make a rainbow appear.
And none of them clearly know how a rainbow works in the real world either, because if there was a clear blue sky and I saw a rainbow, I'd be very confused.
Oh yeah, because they are just like, oh, it's just a rainbow. What
exactly.
Like, yeah. There's not a cloud in the sky. It hasn't rained in weeks.
It's dry.
We're in New Mexico.
And the rainbow hits the ground. A rainbow is a full ring in the sky. You can only just see half of it. Cross that one out.
Yeah, so we have this, and they find the bag of gold, and yeah, Ozzy swallows one because he's an idiot.
He is.
Yeah, they're painting the house red and blue, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then we have the leprechaun sort of grabbing Tori's leg and biting the dad. He's very bitey. Is this leprechaun?
Wow. Two things. When they find the bag of gold, when I said about Ozzy earlier, Alex states, we can use this gold to, what's his actual words? Is it cure your brain?
Get your brain operation to make you smart or something to that effect.
Yeah, poor Ozzy. That's He's ruthless, Alex. He's ruthless.
I mean, he is ruthless. He is actually an absolute savage all the way through the film. But clearly the smartest of the three. He's just, I mean, he's a jerk with it. He's a little ass hat with it, but he is clearly the smartest of the three. He
reminded me of we watched RoboCop 2 the other day. Awful film.
The little
shit in that.
Yes, I always thought that kid had a face that I'd just never get tired of punching.
Yeah. Yeah,
like I hated him with a passion. He was the worst.
He's a little wanker. He is, and it kind of just reminded me of that. Obviously one's good, one's evil, but smart kids, like strong-willed, smart kids.
Hob, he was called, I believe.
Yeah, what a little bitch. So yeah, that was the thing with the gold. Now the thing with the leprechaun fucking around with them. There's a scene where rub my eyes. Tori is standing in front of the van. Camera pans that. Okay, no, how does the scene start? I believe Tori and Nathan have just left the house. She walks to the van. He's standing over the van. Nathan goes to exit stage left or stage right, and we pan down to the leprechaun crawling and starts to tickle her leg.
Yeah,
she thinks it's Nathan. The man is over there. And I just...
like he's going to do that with somebody he's just met as well.
So he ran all the way round the back.
Run round the back and crawl underneath it.
And start tickling.
While making leprechaun noises.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they love it.
Maybe that's his kink.
They love it.
I know what women want.
Yeah,
leprechaun noises and ankle tickles.
I don't know where. This was So when Ozzy is proclaiming to everyone that I saw a leprechaun. I think this is just before they go to find the bag of gold, and they're like, Ozzy, what the hell are you talking about? That's far fetched to them. They don't bat an eye with the bag of gold. Eventually.
No. Well, but they don't
down the line,
that.
not around then. I think it's more down the line when they talk.
Yeah,
about
they don't see that until later on. And I think the leprechaun attacks are. They've seen the leprechaun by the time they know.
Okay.
The kids have got the bag. Ozzy, because Ozzy and Alex take the bag of gold into town, don't they? This is moving on to our next scene. They go into town to. It's like Tom's Collectibles and Coins or something.
Happens to be a coin shop just there.
Yeah,
in this town.
In this what is probably a tiny little sort of one-horse town, has this like rare antique shop.
And as they drive into town, our little leprechaun friend is following them on his tricycle.
On a tricycle.
Manages to catch up with them.
This is the first of Warwick's wonderful motor pool of vehicles that he has throughout the movie.
You're telling me no one batted eye at this little leprechaun?
Did he crash through the barn door as well, or something?
No. It's either this one or his demolition derby motor later on that he breaks out.
Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Like, chop shop.
But no one in this town has batted an eye at this little fella on a trike. You know.
No, I mean, he's almost in double figures with the amount of different vehicles he has.
Yeah.
So it's Joe's collectible coin shop, not Tom's. Sorry.
Oh.
So yeah, the leopard, he jumps on a trike, and then we get a slow motion pogo stick attack.
The scene. So Ozzy and Alex take a coin to this. It's basically porn stars.
Yeah. He's got a guy.
He's got a guy.
He's got a guy.
He's got a guy that specialises in leprechaun coins.
Yeah.
And he wants to just look after it for the night. He goes to put it in his safe. And the tricycle just slowly enters the room and approaches is it Joe? You say?
Joe. Yeah.
He's not really that phased.
No.
If you just saw off camera a little tricycle, I don't own a tricycle, wheel in here.
Oh,
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
That'd be terrifying.
He's not bothered.
But I mean, well, yeah, okay. He's got a shop full, as we find out. There's a pogo stick and a little toy go-kart car as well.
Yeah,
so
but
maybe there is a tricycle in there as well. And also, being a collector of rare coins, surely there's a leprechaun turning up like every other week, or a leprechaun, or a genie, or you
should be used to it by now.
A red cap, or some goblin, or other fairy, or something. Yeah. Every other week there's something turning up in the shop. So perhaps it is just an everyday thing. For
Fairy
Joe,
tale of the week.
I'm not an antique coin collector, so I don't know, but maybe it's just one of the perks, or perils of the job.
But you play one on TV.
I play one on TV.
Yeah, the pogo stick death, which the Joe really has a hard time fighting back against.
It's just, why is it in slow motion?
There's a lot of
such a ludicrous image.
There's a lot of production choices that were made with this film, like that. A lot of ADR later on, which I really noticed, and the transitions, the screen wipes, or whatever the spinning. It's like I can't remember what you call it. The fades.
Mm-hmm. There's like the weird wonky camera angle when she's in the old people's home at the end as well. It's like they just kind of went, right, we want to do this, we want to do this kind of shot, we want to do this kind of shot. Like, they just had a list of things. So it's just after the pogo stick attack that I made the note that this film is an excuse to have Warwick in different small ridiculous vehicles. Literally just as I was typing this. So this was my thought on the movie after seeing him ride a tricycle and a pogo stick. So at this point, only two things. And as I was typing this note, he finds the little go-kart car, and I was like, just as I'm typing this, he's found a small car.
I was right.
And off he goes, and then we have the scene with the cop pulling him over. And he's clearly not a small child in a Halloween mask. The cop thinks it is.
What did I write here? Here we go. ADR over the cop's voice. Then the leprechaun rubbed jam on his face. It's basically what happened.
I mean,
because
we do have a little interlude at this point, though, for Tori to complain about not having a watercress salad and a bottle of water in the diner, and then we go back to the cop being chased through the woods.
Now, I'm going to mention this, and I've mentioned it before. It's a big pet peeve of mine in horror films, and I've talked about it a couple of weeks ago. What do you think it is?
Lighting.
Lighting in horror films at nighttime. My God.
Yeah.
Bad. Really bad in this.
But there is a particular lighting effect used in this movie that trumps all others.
Is it the green light at the
It
end?
is the green spotlight on the clover patch at the end. There is literally just a random, from out of nowhere, green spotlight.
Well, I can tick that one off. Where, in capital letters, what is that green light?
I know I was going to try and save it for later, but as soon as you brought up the lighting, it has to get mentioned.
Has to.
Because it's so ridiculous.
I mean, where is it coming from?
Well, nowhere. So this is like just jumping right to the end of the movie.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Tori's essentially found out that to stop the leprechaun for good, she needs to pick a 4-leaf clover. Freshly picked 4-leaf clover from the patch beside the well.
Yeah.
The patch beside the well. Now, at this point, it's the middle of the night. But just literally to highlight where the patch is, she gets out of the truck or the Jeep or whatever she's driving, and immediately you can see that there's like green light shining from somewhere.
Yep.
And you think, like, oh, that's weird. There's a spotlight, green spotlight, or somebody's got a green torch or something like that.
No.
And it's literally just to sort of attempt to create the effect that there is a green patch of clovers growing on the ground. Yeah. But it's she's got it all over her hands and it's gone up her arm and legs and it's a green spotlight shone on the ground.
So bright. I mean,
it's such an unnecessary thing to do.
I'm gonna look outside right now. What we're looking at, 9:45 p.m. There are some street lights on. I can still barely see anything out there.
Yeah. There's no like glowy green patch.
There's no bright green light out there. Yeah, it would. Oh God, that bothered me. In fact,
it was just crazy.
In fact, no, it didn't bother me. It was so absurd that I didn't know what to think about it because
it's crazy. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
What bothered me was the rest of the lighting that night because we have to see what's going on, but at the same time, you've gone so far with the lighting. I can see everything, and it's so unbelievable. In the sense of it is actually unbelievable. I mean, obviously, we talked about my bloody disgusted. My Bloody Valentine 3D was really bad because of the fact you could see 3 points, for instance, in one shot where there was lighting coming in. It was just insane. And this is the scene I mentioned earlier with the cop in kind of like a ring of trees around him where Leprechaun is fucking with him, I'm here. Oh, I'm actually over here. I'm here.
Now, see, the thing that I picked up on this scene is because I think the Leprechaun says something like, let's play hide and seek, essentially.
Yeah.
And at this point, it struck me that they seem to be confusing leprechauns with, like, how did I describe it? It's like there's a lot of references to games and toys and things, and that's not really what leprechauns are about. It's like they've confused leprechauns with like a child's doll like Chucky or one of Santa's elves or something. If this was like one of Santa's elves and it was a Christmas horror film, then all the references to like toys and games and things would make a little bit more sense. Like the use of the pogo stick and them driving the toy car around and things.
It doesn't really fit.
Leprechauns don't have that in their mythology whatsoever. There's nothing, at least not to any extent that it'd be like a common trope to see for a killer leprechaun movie. They just seem to have halfway through decided that, well, he's small, so we'll just give him a bunch of toys.
You're right with the Chucky sort of comparison. I didn't really consider that, but yeah.
I wonder if that's what they were kind of going for as well. It was like,
it's definitely there. I think you're right.
What was this?
Toying with his prey.
How many child's plays had we had? We'd had 3 child's plays by this point, so I think Chucky was probably established as
It's already in the horror myth,
Yeah, and
horror
being the
world,
sort of wisecracking psychopath kind of angle. So I think they were probably that's probably what they were angling for, to get another catchphrasey, and obviously Freddy had been the catchphrasey killer as well, so they were trying to sort of do their version of it, I guess.
Yeah. The lighting, I don't know. It's something that's really starting to bother me.
It's really,
I'm really starting to notice it a lot more. And I think one of the worst ones I always remember was the Blob. There's a scene. I think they use a famous park in LA for it. And that you've got the creeping mist, classic creeping mist, and you may as well pan up to the crane holding the spotlights above. I hate it. I hate it. It's such a big pet peeve of mine in horror. You think back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, when Sally's being chased outside by Leatherface.
Through the trees.
There's a bright moon, but it's still really dark.
Yeah, you struggle to see anything really.
You do, and that's fantastic.
It is, and it's weird because I think that'd be seen as a criticism in a film.
It would.
Now.
It would.
That it's too dark, you can't see anything. I mean, one of the worst culprits for being a dark movie, and not in tone, in literally turn a light on, I can't see anything, is Alien vs Predator Requiem.
Yeah, yes, it is. You can't see anything in that film.
Famously pitch black.
Yes.
I mean, that's maybe too far the other way because you literally cannot make anything out in that movie. But I guess it's realistic because a lot of it takes place in the woods at night. Yeah. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, watching that again now, you think, I'm struggling to see it, but that's kind of the point, and it's the tension, and that's how it would be, right? Yeah.
You just try and put yourself in the place of Sally. You can't see she can't see anything herself. It's pitch black. She's trying to escape this guy chasing her with a chainsaw.
And it does, and it adds to the tension and all that sort of stuff. I suppose now you've got actors to egos, and they want to be seen on screen and all that sort of stuff to think about.
But you look at the Leprechaun thing. If you put yourself in the position of the victim with the Leprechaun films at night, I can see everything. I can see where I'm going.
Yeah.
Not that scary really at night. I can see everything. And they go out at night with torches. Why? You don't need that torch. The torch that I think Nathan's holding the torch and he's got the shotgun. You can see the torch isn't lighting up anything.
Yeah.
There's so much light around. You don't need it.
So the cop gets his neck broken.
He's got jam on his face.
With the jam on his face. And then we cut to the Leprechaun looking for. He's basically runs back and ransacks the house, and we have the Lucky Charm cereal ripoff. He takes a handful of what they call Lucky Clovers.
Clovers, that's it. They're not actually
cereal.
Lucky Charms, yeah.
No, this is another thing. This is kind of one of these stories about this movie that they wanted it to be Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
And Lucky Charms basically said, no, you can't use our products. We won't appear in the movie. So they changed it to whatever I just said.
I think it was Lucky Clovers. Yeah.
Lucky Clovers cereal. And then they reshot and edited that end line with the Alex's "F you Lucky Charms" as a blatant dig to Lucky Charms cereal for not being. Yeah. So the story goes. But yeah.
That's a great story though. Again, Alex ruthless.
He is absolute savage. But there was one moment in this that genuinely made me laugh out loud. While he's ransacking the house, that he pulls a mirror out and sees his own reflection and lets out a little scream. And it
Does
just
he?
it
How
it
did I
just
miss
tickled
that?
me hugely. It's just a really, really funny moment. Yeah, he's ransacking the house and he pulls out a mirror and he looks in and sees his own reflection and goes gives a little and it just I don't know.
Shit.
Just dumb, but I loved it. It made me laugh so much.
Oh,
And that's
I'll try to find that.
the only genuine moment of comedy in the film for me completely.
Well, I mean, speaking of, just quickly, like you say, comedy in the film, horror in the film. There's nothing scary about the film
No.
whatsoever. Nothing scary.
No, there's not.
Horror.
It's very tame.
Horror aspect would probably be the minor violence that's in it. And I say minor because that's more so for us. We've seen a lot worse. There's violence in it, but horror, you could take the evil side of the Leprechaun away and put him in a Jim Henson film or like a film like that, like a Labyrinth or something.
He's like one of the Garbage Pail Kids or something.
Yeah, but horror lies. There's very minimal, minimal.
Yeah, there's no tension or anything at all.
No,
it's like a cartoon basically.
I didn't mean to come on to this fair, internationally acclaimed podcast and just be so negative about Leprechaun. It's kind of all directed at me because I went in with different expectations to this film.
I think
so. That's kind of why. Yeah, some of it's fair.
It's one of them. It's like, you know, it's
Green lights.
It's a fun movie, but it's a fun movie to poke fun at because it's kind of crappy as well. It ticks all of those boxes. So yeah, you know, I think like any criticism really is legit. I don't think we're being overly harsh on it.
What's interesting about what you just said there is it is a bit naff, and we poke holes in it and laugh at it, but at the same time, we wanted to look into comedy and horror in the future, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Now, would you, if you just said to someone, what are some good classic horror comedies?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't put this, would you?
No. No, because this isn't. I mean, it's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. I don't think the comedy is over enough. Like, I don't think it's actually attempted to create joy. Like, a great horror comedy would be Shaun the Dead.
Agreed.
You know, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah.
Like, where there are genuine attempts to make jokes, and it just so happens that those jokes are about the tropes of the horror genre that they're sort of depicting as well, which works even better. You know, I wouldn't put the scary movies in a horror comedy camp.
No,
because they're spoofs. They're
their own thing.
Yeah. And yeah, by the same token, I wouldn't put this, which is just a laughingly bad horror film.
It's bad.
I don't think the comedy is deliberate. Quite honestly.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know what you mean.
And you know, and even if it is, there are far better examples of comedy horror films to suggest than this.
Yes. So wherever we were in the film, around the night time, the final night, we kind of get a bit of a diversion where Tori, sets off to the hospital. Is it a hospital or is it like is it a hospice?
It's the old people's home.
That's it. To find O'Grady. We are a little bit further on. There's just one thing. There's one thing I want to mention before we get onto that. You can indeed. Sir.
So at this point, we have we have him looking for his gold. And he ends up just having a straight fist fight with Nathan. Like, they're rolling around on the floor, like, hitting each other, like, wrestling.
Oh my god, he does, you're right. So dumb.
And in the process of fighting him off, they have a shotgun basically, and Nathan shoots him. And we get this like we get with the Chucky films, you know, shotgun blast, and Warwick goes flying off into a bush. He's got a big green blood smear on his chest.
Oh my god, you're gonna say what I know what you're gonna say.
The next scene when he gets his hand cut off,
Yeah,
he has red blood.
yeah, he does.
So it's another little continuity thing. Then they escape in the truck and they drive off, which is another excuse for this is when Leprechaun goes into the barn and rigs up his little demolition derby mobile, rams the truck over. We have the phone call.
How
to the
the
police.
hell did that ram the truck over?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so the police aren't coming because the one patrolman on duty that night has been killed already by the Leprechaun. Yeah. This is the point where they find out about the gold, where Alex and Ozzy come clean, and so Tori goes, right, well, if he wants his gold, I'm gonna give him his gold, and she goes out and she gives it him. She finds the gold and where they've hidden it, and she gives it to the Leprechaun.
Yeah.
And they think they've won. They think that's it. That's the end of the horror. And then we get the shot of the Leprechaun. He's counting his coins, and he realizes there's one missing.
In Ozzy's stomach.
And it's in Ozzy's stomach.
Yeah.
So he comes back and he goes mad, and he gets shot again with the shotgun, when he has green blood again. And then there's some really dodgy continuity where he has loads of blood over him in the close-up shot, in the wide shots, but none in the close-up shot. And it cuts back and forth about 4 or 5 times.
Is this the part where Nathan goes up to him and can instantly confirm he's dead?
Yes.
Like, you know.
Yeah. Because of all the leprechauns that you go out shooting of a weekend.
Like, you know about this magical new entity that in theory doesn't exist, but it's not natural, it's not human. I know it's dead. I know it is.
He knows.
And this is the point where it might be the first time he shoots him with a shotgun. He blasts him into the
into a bush.
And then he just goes ham on it, and it's like, what the fuck are you firing at? Another pet peeve. Take it off. I hate kind of over the top usage of a gun, like firing at nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
very Blaine in Predator with the minigun.
I think Predator gets a pass. It's fine.
Of course.
They ain't got time to bleed. Okay, they gotta get this shit done.
They're goddamn sexual tyrannosaurs.
I gotta tell you, her pussy. No, I'm not gonna get into that one.
So everybody's on board with leprechauns being real now, and this one is particularly angry because he's one coin short. And it's at this point that they find out that Tori finds out that O'Grady's still alive. He'll know how to kill the leprechaun for good. He had a stroke and he's in this. We're sort of left with him in the prologue, sort of thinking that he's had a heart attack and he's died, but it turns out that he only had a stroke, but he is in a retirement home or something on the other side of town. They distract him by throwing shoes that he's compelled to clean.
Because the law states he loves to shine some shoes.
And Tori drives off. And he's distracted for about 30 seconds and then immediately chases off after her. In another vehicle this time? Roller skates. Chases after her on roller skates. because they had to just get another vehicle. What number vehicle are we up to now? Let's count them off.
I'm not sure.
We had pogo stick.
Is that a vehicle?
I'm counting it. I'm counting it as a mode of transport that he.
I suppose it is a mode of transport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Maybe not. Maybe he didn't. Yeah, no, I am counting it. I am counting.
Right.
It's not the first either. The pogo stick's second. So first is the tricycle.
Yeah.
Then it's a pogo stick, because I think it's just like how many little vehicles or little things can we get Warwick Davis to like ride on. So
it looks silly on.
So tricycle, pogo stick, the little go-kart toy car thing, his homemade little mobile. Now we've got roller skates.
Yeah.
And then obviously when they leave the old people's home, it's a wheelchair. He chases after on the return trip in a wheelchair. And the other thing about this is it's only Tori that gets harassed. So he goes to the trouble of being distracted by the shoes while she escapes. And then instead of staying and basically attacking the three boys,
goes after her,
who are potentially just as responsible for the theft of this one gold piece as she is.
More so.
I mean, they are actually responsible. Yeah. Well, Ozzy is. But as far as he's concerned, they're all guilty. So there's no. So why does he run all the way across town to then come back again?
I've just I loaded the film up, and I've just seen his first car, which it's like a little flatbed. That's the one he gets pulled over on. And jam on the face. And then there's his little death machine. Which has he made it, or has he just clicked his fingers and it's
there's a lot of like hammering sounds and things. I think it's implied that he's 18'd it.
Yeah, and if you notice, there's a POV shot of him driving, and on the front it's got a pitchfork. And this is the vehicle that rams the van.
Scrap Heap Challenge, eat your heart out. He's done a good job there.
Another sort of vehicle. He has a little fun time on the skateboard inside the house.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. I knew there was another one.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and the skateboard as well. I forgot about the skateboard. In fact, my note, he's riding yet another tiny vehicle. Absolutely every time someone approaches a door or cupboard or puts their ear to a surface, the leprechaun jumps out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Tori runs off to the old folks' home and is tricked by the leprechaun who's in Grady's room. And then randomly O'Grady falls out of the ceiling of the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
to just mutter his last breath about plucking a fresh clover from the clover patch, which you'll spot because it's green lit. There's a spotlight to show you exactly where that is. It's part of the garden feature. Next to the fake wishing well. We have our
fucking well as well.
Honestly, it's like that Glasgow Wonka thing, isn't it? It's a green spotlight and a wishing well.
They didn't even try to hide the polystyrene rocks and the timber frame around it in the well. It explodes later on. We'll get to it.
And a small actor on a pogo stick. It is exactly like that Glasgow Willy Wonka thing.
The unknown. The hospital scenes, right? Now, from what I had in my mind of this film, actually comes from years and years ago when on TV, more so Channel 5, Channel 4, every now and then they do like the 100 scariest films of all time.
Oh yeah,
one of them used to be hosted by Jimmy Carr, I think, or Alex Zane, the film nerd. And whenever some of the films get about maybe 3 minutes, fly on the wall sort of thing. Some of them are like quick 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. The scenes they always used for Leprechaun were in the hospital. Just Jennifer Aniston and the Leprechaun. Mm-hmm. I remember. So in my mind, I thought that was what this was more about. More of a horror, So,
Well,
yeah,
this is probably the most horror scene.
agreed. Yes,
With the wonky camera angle. In fact, it plays very much like a Nightmare on Elm Street dream sequence.
yep, it really
It's
does.
got wonky camera angle. There's kind of sinister music playing. She's walking down this creepy corridor. Doesn't really know where she's going. Walks into the room thinking she's going to meet this kindly old man, and reveal it could be Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean? It could have been
easily.
the reveal could have been Freddy Krueger. It feels very much like a Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's arguably the most horror shot scene in the entire film.
Yeah, it's even lit a bit like that as well. There are some harsh reds here and there.
Yeah,
for some weird reason again.
Well, they obviously had a multi-pack of coloured spotlights and
just change the filters.
They needed to, yeah.
Change the gels.
We've got the full pack of them. We might as well try and get them all in.
But yeah, so the hospital scene. I was going to say that the hospital scene is what if I was to change this film, would extend for most of this film and make it about that. I would. Okay, Tori and her dad move into this new house. They, like I said earlier, they hear things happening. Oh, it's just a cat. It must just be a cat or a stray cat. There's a ruckus in that tree, and the dad's like, "It's that damn cat again." Gets attacked. It's actually a leprechaun. Goes to the hospital. This is really early on. The dad is in hospital. We focus more on the dad for once because the dad, like I said, is not in it.
Well, you don't see him. After
you
that.
never see him again.
Once he goes to the hospital, that's it.
And
you don't even see him reunited at the end. It's just he's gone.
We don't need Nathan, Ozzy, or Alex. We have Tori at the hospital. She is a bit distraught because she moved to the house, is sick of it. Now this has happened to her dad, and she's just like, oh, sat in the waiting room. Everyone leaves because it's getting towards middle of the night. There's no one in the hospital. The Leprechaun has followed them there and is terrorizing her around the hospital.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, very straightforward, but that's what I would have done. So a bit more horror.
The dad's got leprechaun poisoning.
Yeah. Yeah, the dad.
He's slowly turning into a leprechaun.
He slowly turns into what Stephen King turns into in Creepshow. Just big green thing. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I would try and do. Just to keep it simple, because there's only really so much you can do with the mythos of a leprechaun in a horror.
I mean, there's a lot of the same stuff. There's a lot of her being chased. There's a lot of Tori and Warwick running up and down. I think somebody has reshot or edited some of the chase scenes with the Friends theme over the top. I've not watched it, but apparently it's quite funny. But it's practically, it's very Benny Hill in some.
Yeah.
That's certainly that last chase sequence. He's running after her with his hands out, going ah! And we basically just got a shot of her backside as she's running away. It is, if you're not putting the Friends theme over it, you could quite easily put that. Put the old yakety sax.
No one told her it was going to be that way.
Dear. I suppose we needed.
Her love life was DOA at that film.
I mean, we needed at least one Friends reference in there, didn't we? I suppose.
Yeah. We were saying about the camera angles. That's really prevalent when she first goes into the care home. And she gets the room number off the clipboard from the security guard that's still comically just...
There's some great, just wake up for a second and fall back asleep acting. Yeah. Hey, that guy might be really proud of that. That might be his
finest moment.
His only acting credit, and he might be dead proud that he was in there. Technically, he was in a scene with Jennifer Aniston, and nobody can take that away from him. He
was in the same camera shot. It wasn't like it was cut. So after the shenanigans at the care home, we get back to it's kind of like a farmstead, isn't it, really?
Yeah. I mean, they grow clovers.
They do, and you know where they are, at least.
Yeah.
And we get another ADR line here, which I noted and you know it's ADR'd in because you can see Jennifer Aniston's mouth not moving.
Right.
And she says, "We're never going to find a 4-leaf clover." And there's a shot where if you look closely, her mouth isn't moving.
Okay,
and this is where I noticed there's a lot.
I think I was
of
still
ADR.
trying to work out why there was a green light, but
There's a lot. There's so much ADR in this film. There must have been cuts, or it even gives me the impression that there were like multiple directors on this film. I don't think there were, but it feels like many films spliced together. I mean, okay.
It does. Yeah, I agree with you. It does feel like there's bits missing. Like they've just cut together the chase scenes and the jumping out scenes, and there's not a huge amount in between, apart from like one brief conversation about watercress salad and meatloaf, and a Evian and a cop getting jam on his face.
He did get jam on his face.
Yeah, there's not really much else. So we're right at the end now. So the attempt to lay a trap for Leppy in the barn, which basically just doesn't work, and
that barn is so bright. I'm sorry,
starts giving the absolute beat down to Ozzy, just like
he does,
wailing on him.
Yeah,
just absolutely paneling him.
Does he use a weapon? Does he use a weapon, or does he just?
I can't. I seem to think he's got a club. He's got a stick or something. I may be wrong, but I'd feel like he is hitting him with something.
Was he down? Oh,
so yeah.
It's his. It's his shoe buckle.
Okay, he's just beating him. I had to beat them to death with their own shoes.
Wait, what? I know that. What is that from?
That's from Wayne's World 2, where Del Preston had to fill a brandy glass with brown M&Ms, or Ozzy wouldn't go on stage that night.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, he gets it bad. With the buckle.
And yeah, Alex saves the day by sticking the 4-leaf clover to a piece of gum and catapulting it into his mouth while delivering the line, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms."
Yep.
Which causes the leprechaun to melt and fall down the well, which I liked. I liked as a practical effect. The melty leprechaun skeleton kind of looks good.
Practical effects, or as far as the leprechaun goes, are good. They're really. I think he looks great. Okay, here's a good positive for the film. I think as a leprechaun, he looks great. The way it's implemented in a horror film, not so much. But
no, I mean, I don't think it's the best.
No
way to do it.
No, but
I
visually he looks great.
Not in this anyway. I think in the is it 2005 one? 2000 was Leprechaun in the Hood. It's early 2000s.
Yeah, if you go for pop vinyl, you can get yourself a life-size Warwick Davis Leprechaun figure. Sorry. That was cold-blooded.
That was cold. Leprechaun Origins in 2014.
Is there a Leprechaun film called Leprechaun Revelations or Leprechaun?
No, there is Leprechaun. So after Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which is part 6, the 7th film in the franchise is a reboot with Hornswoggle playing the titular Corn.
His character in WWE was basically a leprechaun.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it, but I did watch it. I can't remember what channel it was, but I did watch a YouTube sort of
Babe Station.
I didn't watch Leprechaun Origins. I watched Babe Station,
Leprechaun
and what I learned about Leprechaun Origins from Babe Station is they make the leprechaun a lot more monstrous in that. And I think that it's set in Ireland, and it is like a sort of thing in the woods kind of a movie. It's meant to be absolutely horrendous dog shit, like and not worth your time. But it's probably a better angle to do a monster to do a leprechaun killer leprechaun movie, is to have it as the sort of thing in the woods and based on the folklore rather than the St Paddys Day, kiss me, I'm Irish, die in your river green, absolute shit show that the Warwick Davis Leprechaun is.
Is it only Warwick Davis and Hornswoggle that play?
No, in
fact,
2016...
It's not... Oh, well, Hornswoggle, I think it's Dylan...
It's Dylan... Postal?
Postal, yeah.
Postal.
Yeah.
In 2016, there was another attempt at a reboot, Leprechaun Returns.
Jesus.
And somebody called Lyndon Porco played the Leprechaun in that. He was also in Little Man and Cult of Chucky. And he's going to be in 2024's Stream as well, apparently. He's a Canadian actor.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I had no idea that Leprechaun Returns existed. But it does, and he's in it.
Right.
I mean, I can't see it being great, given that
No, me either.
nobody really knew about it.
Hang on. Leprechaun Returns features the daughter of Jennifer Aniston's character.
Oh, really?
Wow. And is
Excuse
a direct sequel to the original Leprechaun.
See, if that's the case, then that's just gone up in my estimation. There's a direct link. Love it. So in that case, the Hornswoggle one is completely removed.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, like I say, I've never watched it, but from studying Babe Station, that's what I learned.
Can we? Have you got much more? Because my final point I wanted to discuss was the well.
Yeah.
But what else?
This is the end. I mean, basically, that he falls down the well and then gets out of the well and then falls down the well again.
He does, yeah.
And then they set fire to it, and that's a lot of burning polystyrene. That's not good for the ozone layer, man.
I mean, even when they first show the well, it looks awful. It looks like a party prop. It looks like it would be that Willy Wonka attraction.
Yeah, it does. Exactly that. Or on the set of Teletubbies, or like a Mother Goose TV show.
Yeah. It's sitting on the ground. It's not embedded in the rocks. I mean, I've made props. I've made like fake fireplaces for events where you're just polycarving it.
Yeah,
to make it look like old rocks.
But it's life-size D&D terrain. It's life-size like Warhammer scatter terrain. And
its scaffolding is basically a 2x2 framework inside. And the problem is, like, fine, I saw that as soon as they cut to the well for the first time. I saw it, and because of what I do for a living, I clicked. That looks shit. I've done that before. This looks awful for a budget movie, a big budget, a mainstream movie.
Yeah.
It was when the well exploded and the camera panned back to it, and they didn't even hide the exposed polystyrene or
part of it's broken,
because it's probably polystyrene with a fiberglass outing, and you can see the shell of the fiberglass. Like,
it would have been. I think it genuinely would have been easier and would have looked better to just get some wood and some stones and
just build one up.
Make a well.
Yeah.
Dig a well. Just dug a well.
Doesn't have to be deep. Just dig it about a foot deep, and you start embedding the stones up.
Yeah, just pile up some stones. Yeah. It would have looked a lot better because this thing sticks out like a sore thumb, like it's a bit of pantomime scenery or something. It's awful. It's awful. So no, that's pretty much it. So we have the threat of the cops arrive and Jennifer Aniston can move on to bigger and better things. And her dad may have died of leprechaun poisoning. We're not sure at this point. We get Warwick's Leprechaun voice coming in just to say that he'll find a way to come back or some such gubbins.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, that's the end of that chapter.
That's the end of that chapter. He's got the scarf as well.
And yeah, and it's stupid, dumb fun that's good to take the Mickey out of. I would recommend it. Like, if you want a dumb horror film, like dumb, monster movie, check out Leprechaun. It's probably not going to be my first recommendation to people. But if you're on the subject of, like, horror films that are just a bit naff and a bit cheesy, and you want to, like, have a few beers and poke some fun at some dumb movie, like, definitely check out Leprechaun. In the same breath as you'd be like, oh, have you seen, like, Sharknado or Killer Sofa? Then Leprechaun.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's worth a watch for that, I think.
Apparently, Leprechaun Returns is actually meant to be good.
Who?
A lot of user reviews on IMDb are stating it's good. It has a 5 out of 10. The original Leprechaun is a 4.8 out of 10.
Okay. I mean,
and I actually quite like the way it looks. The Leprechaun looks.
Oh, really? I was just looking at sort of like stone grey Freddy face.
Well, it's always going to look like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd give it a watch.
Yeah, I would.
I'm just looking at who else is it. Oh, Ozzy's back in it. Mark Holland's back in it as Ozzy.
He is in it. Wow. Okay. Mad.
And then, somebody that's not Rachel Green, Jennifer Aniston appears as somebody called Heather McDonald appears as the voice of Tori Redding.
Oh no!
So I wonder if there must be maybe there's a flashback scene or something like that. But yeah, they got somebody else in to just quickly do your best, Jennifer Aniston.
You probably paid her in a burger and fries and a Coke for her time.
Well, at some point I will hunt down Leprechaun Returns and give it a watch because
I'm interested in the series. I do want to go through the series because
I bought the box set.
I saw, yeah.
I did buy the box set. Yes. Unfortunately, it's only the first 5, so it misses that second Hood movie, which I'm a little bit disappointed at. It'd be nice if it was at least the box set of the Warwick movies. But I saw it and I was like, because this is the conversation we had why we said we'd do this, right? Because it was like, it's a franchise that neither of us have really seen like all of, and we were like, yeah.
And it's because it's St Patrick's Day. I should have mentioned that about an hour and a half ago.
Right at the end.
If you're still here, this is the reason why we've done it.
Day, everybody.
This is the reason why we chose it. Yeah. But it's a franchise I think I'd like to just every now and then.
I mean, it was like a tenner for that box set.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? If I only watch them all once, it's like,
yeah,
it's fine. You know what I mean? Looks good on the shelf. Quite happy. I've got one eye on the Leprechaun Returns trailer at the minute, and it does actually look pretty decent.
Really? I'll have a look after.
Certainly like a pretty decent in with a pinch of salt there, but yeah, I'm gonna give. There's some dodgy CGI in it, but I'm gonna. Of course there is. I'm gonna give it a go at some point. Yeah, good dumb Leprechaun fun, just in time for Paddy's Day.
For Paddy's Day, yep. We've got about, what was that, 8 Leprechaun films? 9? However many.
7.
We've got 7. We've got 7 years worth left.
We've got 7 years worth of St Patrick's Day.
Fantastic. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, Leprechaun numero uno. Done and dusted.
8 years.
8.
Mm.
We'll see.
It just gets better and better. By then, they might even
there'll be more.
decided to reboot it or reset it or whatever we're calling it these days.
Yeah, there'll be more. There'll be more. So yeah, there's
a sexy
Leprechaun.
teen Leprechaun drama series on Netflix.
If seeing as this was a holiday themed horror film, we've done quite a few on the channel as of late, and the whole show in general.
Yeah.
What's your, not you, Aidan?
No.
What's your favorite horror holiday themed film? Let us know. You can let us know your favorite horror holiday themed film by.
Well, if you really want to, and I'd love you to, you can email it. You can email it to the Dreadcast podcast at gmail.com. I think we just have to accept emails dead. You can tweet us. Tell us on the Twitters. But yeah, if you really do want to send us an email, the Dreadcast podcast at gmail.com.
We got one email, but
is it just about that secret African route that's making?
It's from a Chinese AI bot. It's from a Chinese AI bot, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, just give it a go. Give it a go. We'll keep trying.
What is your favorite horror movie?
Oh, me? You're asking me?
Yeah, why not? We might as well share ours.
Valentine's a given. That's
Valentine's is.
Do you know what? I actually think Thanksgiving is going to be up there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Although saying that, the one next to it is definitely my favourite, Halloween. Don't know why I didn't even think of that first.
I mean, I'm going for The Wicker Man. Mayday.
Yes,
which proves once again I can answer any horror movie
with
question
The Wicker Man.
With The Wicker Man.
Yeah. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Black Christmas is my favourite Christmas horror. April Fool's Day is not a holiday theme, but it's a. That's a good one. The original My Bloody Valentine, very solid.
Are there any birthday horror films?
Happy Birthday. There's Happy Birthday to Me, or to You. It's a 80s slasher film.
I'm just thinking, just as rather than it being a specific holiday, like a national holiday or Christmas or religious festival or anything like that, as just another sort of event that you would celebrate. Birthdays.
Happy Birthday to Me. It's the only one that comes across my mind. 1981 horror. I'm
thinking about the segment in Creepshow with I Want My Cake.
That's Father's Day.
Yeah.
That's Father's Day, though. I believe it's Father's Day. It's not his birthday.
Oh, is it I see.
Yeah, it's Father's Day cake.
Well, that's not a thing.
It's not. It's really not.
That's what was confusing me, because you don't get a cake for Father's Day.
Oh, okay, right. Yes, send us your opinions on your favorite horror holiday horror themed film on the socials.
Send us some money as well.
Send some money. And
email
if you
money.
need to strip your paint and varnish, we are sponsored by Barity Paint Panther Paint and Varnish. Can't do it.
Available from all good hardware stores. All
good hardware stores. The _Dreadcast at on the Twitter, X. I'm butchering this, or just all of it. Just search it.
If you've listened this long, you know where to find us.
Search it.
You know where to find us.
All past content on Spotify, Apple, Google, Samsung Plus, TuneIn, Amazon Echo, Apple Podbean, and the YouTubes. And we are done.
You can tell it's the first time we've done an evening recording in a while, because I can tell we're both shattered now.
Yeah.
Let's close it out.
Let's go to bed.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, and
Till next
we'll
time.
see you next time for the Treehouse of Horror Spectacular.
Woo!